1.6 million in 3 weeks for one of our clients. That's what we helped them generate. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. Now, it's not going to be one of those BS videos that you see online that's all fluff and no filler. I'm going to break down the exact launch process step by step, go through all the different phases so you can copy and deploy for yourself. So let's get into it then. First off, I'll talk about kind of the results and the overall process and strategy, and then I'll break down the different phases and kind of break down exactly what we did behind the scenes to get these results. Now, we did this launch for this client earlier this year. So it was in February 2024. For the whole campaign, we generated just over 23,000 leads. From those leads, we generated 619 sales, which resulted in cash collected. So like on day one or month one, we collected $780,000 in cash. And with sales revenue, because we were selling coaching, so there was obviously some payment plans involved. With the total sales revenue, it was just over 1.6 million. So our lead conversion was 3.44%. So that's not just like the people who attended live or anything like that. Literally out of the leads that we generated, we converted 3.44% of those leads into a sale. And the sale was either a 2K program or a 5K program. So we're not talking about a $100 course or a $500 course, like mid to semi-high ticket, converted 3.44% of the leads. So it's really strong. Now, this isn't just like luck or just like a one-off. We've been doing this for the exact same client for years now. You can see on the screen that this specific process, we've been working with this client since 2021, but we kind of implemented this launch process in June 2023. And you can see that the first time we did it, we did about $500,000 in cash collected and just over $1 million in total sales revenue. In September 2023, we did a similar launch process, but it wasn't the same. And that was actually a little bit lower. But we did get, again, 63K cash collected, 820K in total sales revenue. Then in Feb 2024, which I'm going to break down today, we reverted to the previous one. We did in June. And boom, we did over 700K, nearly 800K cash collected, 1.6 million in sales. And then we did the exact same process again in June 2024 for the client. Again, very similar results, over 700K cash collected, 1.6 million in total sales revenue. And then we did a smaller launch in November just gone. So we've done this launch process multiple times. When we followed this exact process that I'm going to share in today's video, we haven't generated less than $1 million for our client in total sales. So we've done this time and time again. We've got the process dialed in, and I'm going to share everything with you today. Overall, since we've implemented this process, generated nearly 5 to 6 million in sales for this client. Again, since working them with 2021, that process is higher. Okay, enough of the numbers, enough showing off. Let's kind of like break down into what the strategy was. So we call it a beta test launch. So overall, the strategy is pretty simple. We run ads and we promote to our clients' organic following, and we get people to register or not even register, we get them to apply to become a beta tester for a new course. So that's like the lead generation angle. And effectively, it's a 3-week program that they can apply to go through for free. So the launch or the event lasts about 3 weeks. And don't worry, I'm going to break down exactly what it looks like inside later on in this video. But it's a 3-week process. The third week, we start to sell. So that third week is where we launch the program and we start selling. And on the back end, we sell the 12-month coaching program. So people apply to become a tester for a course that lasts 3 weeks. And then towards the end of that course, we sell them the 12-month coaching program. And that's what resulted in the 785K cash collected and the 1.6 million in sales revenue. So I'll break down the process and what we did, and then I'm going to go into the different phases in terms of like generating the leads with the ads, what actually happened during the 3 weeks, and then also the sales week as well. So super high level then, how did we generate the leads? We did it through Facebook ads, Our clients saw organic social media following, which was primarily Instagram and also a little bit of YouTube. They also have some like communities as well on school, for example. But we drove traffic from the clients' organic socials, and they also have an email list as well. So the traffic from Facebook ads we generated through lead forms. So not to a regular landing page on a ClickFunnels or something like that. It was actually the native lead form inside of Facebook. For this launch specifically, just the lead cost was a lot lower, and I'll show you that lead cost and the ad spend and stuff in a second. Social media, like I said, Instagram and YouTube, and then the email list, we had 3 email lists. So we had the email list of this business, and then our clients, which are 2 business partners, they had their own individual email lists, which we promoted to as well. So we basically drove traffic to an application that says, hey, apply to become a beta tester for our new course that we're bringing out. And the application basically just asked, it was very short and simple, like 3 questions, like name and email. That was number 1. Then like a niche question. So basically asking them, what do they do, basically? So just to give you some context, this was for a business building program. It was kind of like in a specific niche, but it was essentially teaching people how to build an online business and make money. So it was focused primarily on beginners or people who have kind of started and failed a little bit, but it wasn't, hey, we're going to help you scale from 6 to 7 figures. It was very much, hey, we're going to help you do this full time. So it was more of a niche question, asking them about what they currently do, and then why do they feel like they would be a good fit to become a beta tester? So like, why should we choose them effectively? So getting them to qualify themselves. And then after they applied, we would basically send them to 3 different places. Number 1, we would get them to request access to school. So that's where like the course content was going to be held for this 3 weeks. Again, I'm going to break all this down specifically in a second. This is just a high level funnel overview. We had a Facebook group, which was where they all connected with each other, where the community was. We prefer Facebook groups for community versus school. We just found that the engagement is just so much higher inside of a Facebook group versus a school community. And it made more money. So that's why we chose that. In reality, the school platform, we could have probably chosen a different course platform to host the videos on, but we just like the calendar aspect of school as well. So we used the calendar where people could kind of like get the Zoom links and get updated and stuff like that as well. So that's why we use school, because we like the calendar, plus you can host the courses there. Facebook for community, and then obviously we had the email list, which we sent, regular notifications. So again, just in the notes in the bottom there, the assets, school was where the course content was, and also the calendar. Facebook group was where the community was, and also we posted updates and communication notifications, and then the email list obviously for like notifications as well. So they're kind of like the assets and how we nurtured them. Then once the 3 weeks started, it was essentially week 1 was a mix of course content and live coaching sessions. Week 2 was the same, course content, live coaching sessions. And then week 3 was purely just live sessions. There was no course content. And then week 3 is where we pitched. So day 1 of week 3 is where we pitched, and that's where we sold the 12-month coaching program. In terms of the content, again, I'm going to dive deeper into it in a second, but just on a high level, week 1 and 2, they really focused on mindset and vision and identity. So we did that with, number 1, live sessions on Zoom. So throughout the week, we had multiple live sessions. Our clients would go on live, they'd do some coaching, they'd also do some Q&A. And we had courses on beliefs and mindset, and also like identity and their future vision for themselves, their business, their life. Then week 3 was focused basically on selling and tactics. So selling our program, but then also the first 2 weeks are obviously more mindset, vision focused. The 3rd week was more tactical for them. So they were getting like tangible strategies on how they could grow their business. So again, the live sessions were all done on Zoom, coaching and Q&A. But again, we focused on tactics. So the offer for the business, how to market, how to sell. We also had live testimonials from past students come out and share their experience. And we also had lots of CTAs as well, because throughout that 3rd week, we were constantly selling. So in terms of the offer, it was a 12-month coaching program, and there were 2 options, a group study and a VIP. So the group study was a course, a community, coaching sessions 2 times per week, and then just a bunch of bonuses. So that was a 2K offer. Or they could do the VIP, which was everything that group study had. So course, community, coaching 2 times per week, the bonuses. but they also got 2 in-person masterminds. They also got an 8-week accelerator course. So over the first 8 weeks when they joined the program, there would be extra calls for 8 weeks to kind of get them launched and started. And then after that 8 weeks finished, there would be bi-weekly VIP calls where they would get extra coaching, and it was a smaller group, so there was more of an intimate support. And that was a 5K offer. Okay, so that's kind of like overview of the process, overview of the offer. We'll go and break down the different phases now then. So where can I put myself? I'll put myself on the top here. So phase 1, registration. So we started the registration phase 3 weeks out. So 3 weeks before week 1 started, we would start marketing the beta test, right? The beta launch. So you can see from the registration point of view, organically, so from our clients' email lists and social media channels, we got 5,800 leads. From the ads, we generated 17,463 leads. So 23,297 leads in total. Like I said, mostly Instagram, YouTube, and the email list for organic. And then all the ads came from Facebook. So you can see like a big chunk of it obviously was from paid media. So in total then, if we look here, we spent in total $80,000 on registration ads. So from that 80,000, we got 17,000 leads. So our cost per lead was $4.63, which for any type of like business coaching lead generation, as you can imagine, that's extremely strong. So if we break down the ad spend then, we obviously, the first week is typically just like testing different ads and different angles. And then the second week is kind of like optimizing it. So now we've found the angles that are working best, kind of let's optimize it. So let's improve the hooks and try different variations of the same angles that are working. And then the third week before it starts, we're just trying to spend as much money as possible. So you can see for the first week, we got up to like 3K a day. The second week, we got up to like 4.5K a day. And then in the final week, we were about 5K total, around 5K in spend per day. So yeah, like I said, over 17,000 leads, cost per lead is $4.63. And the lead form converted on average at like 36%. So there's a few reasons why we use the lead forms. Number one, you'll find that the CPMs are just a lot cheaper. You can see that our average CPM here was $16. Now, not all of this was to a US market, but a high majority of that spend was to like the US and Canada. And for like business offers to the US and Canada, CPMs are typically a little bit higher than that. So number one, the lead forms, the CPMs are much lower than if we were sending them to a landing page. But then number two, the conversions were still pretty good. So like the conversion on the lead form was 36%. Now, if you run ads to a landing page, you can get a conversion rate on a regular landing page or opt-in page at 36%. But typically to cold traffic with ads, you might be looking at like 25 to 20 is kind of like average. You can get obviously higher, but that's why our cost per lead was so low, because the CPMs are so much lower and the lead form actually converted pretty well. Like not amazing, it could definitely be higher, but 36% to cold traffic is really strong. So that's why our lead cost was able to be so low. So that's overall on the ads then. We did see a sharp increase in the cost per lead once we started to scale, started to spend more money kind of going into the second week. But what we managed to do really well here was that we got up to a decent daily spend of around 4 to 5K pretty early. So it meant we didn't have to do any like dramatic last minute scaling. For this client previously on some of the other launches, we've kind of not gone too hard too early. And what that meant was like 4 or 5 days out, we needed to get up to like 5 to 10K a day in spend. And that just jacked the cost per lead up way higher than what we wanted. So what we tried to do with this launch was, okay, 2 weeks out, let's get to a relatively high daily spend, which in this case was about 4.5K. And you can see here that we didn't have to like dramatically scale from this far out. The cost per lead did jump up obviously to like $4.81, but then it really kind of stabilized to around $5. We did get $6 on some of the days where we increased the spend. This was just before the launch happened here. We spent about $5K on the final day. But, previously that cost per lead could have gone up to like $7, $8, $9, $10 if we were like going from spending, $3K a day to $6, $7, $8K per day. So what we found was that increasing the budget earlier, no last minute scaling, just meant that everything was stable. And up to this date, this was the best launch that we've done. So we were a little bit worried. We were like, well, if we've got like thousands of people registering for this event 2 weeks out, are they really going to remember to attend if 2 weeks goes by and nothing's happened? So we were kind of like worried, our theory was most of the people who show up are going to be the people that register within, 7 days of it starting. But that wasn't the case. And actually the launch that we did later on in the June, this 700K and 1.6 mil, we actually spent a lot more on ads because we relied a lot less on the organic. So we actually doubled the ad spend here. And we spent ads 4 weeks out. So we started advertising 4 weeks out, and people still bought even though they, registered 4 weeks before the event started. So that theory was actually busted by this. So now I'm not too worried about trying to spend most of the budget a few days before the event, because our conversion piece, which is the 3-week beta launch, is so strong. It still converts the people. It might be different if you're doing like a 90-minute webinar, which is kind of like really forgettable and, people won't show up. But for this type of process, people can still register 3-4 weeks out and they will still convert. So it allows us to scale a lot smoother, and there's no last minute scaling. So if we look at the different ad types then that we ran, just one more note actually as well. This is the 11th here was kind of like when it started, but we still let the ads run for the first couple of days of the launch. And the reason why is because on day one, that's obviously where the first lessons are released. That's where the energy in the group is really, really high. So what we like to do is still run ads after those first couple of days, because it means new people are going into the Facebook group and they go in and they see all this proof and all this energy, right? People are posting being like, day one is amazing. Oh my gosh, they've got some of the replays they can go and watch. They've got the course content they can consume. And the energy in the group on day one and day two and day three is really high. So that's a lot of proof for people. Sometimes for people who register for events like this, they might be like, ooh, like skeptical. Is it going to work? Well, if they log in straight away after they register or they apply, and they just see all of this proof in the Facebook group of people having a great time, people learning a lot, people having breakthroughs, then that's a lot of proof. And we actually found that those people still will then watch the replays and they'll go through and convert as well. So we still basically, we cut most of the spend, but we leave our best performing ads running for the first few days. And then, eventually we will cut off, but that's why we kind of keep the leads running. So in terms of the ad types then, we obviously test multiple different pieces of copy, different videos, different images, different angles, but there was 3 main ad types that work specifically for this launch. Number 1 is just a very direct ad and an image. Not my proudest piece of copy, honestly. It's very just direct, saying, hey, if you're this type of person and you want to learn how to do this thing, then apply to become a beta tester of our new course. In the future, we're going to sell it for thousands of dollars, but you can apply and test it for free. All that we ask is that you provide feedback on the program so we can improve it. And then also, if you get results by the end of the 3 weeks, then we would ask for a testimonial. And then we outline a little bit of what they're going to learn inside of the 3 weeks, and then we just get them to apply. That sounded a little wordy, but honestly, some of the best performing ads were just a couple of paragraphs long. And I think the reason why that works so well is because I'm not saying we're the first person to do like a free course as a lead magnet, but it's very different to, hey, watch a 50-minute case study, or hey, register for my webinar. All of those offers in the ads are just obviously overplayed. Everyone's sick and tired of it. And, a 90-minute free training isn't actually a very sexy offer anymore if you see that in your newsfeed, right? The same as, hey, download our free case study where I explain X, Y, and Z. Every marketer and their gran is running a webinar funnel or a VSL funnel. So it's not a very sexy offer. This offer, which is essentially, hey, get this program that we're going to sell for thousands of dollars, you get access it for free. That's a sexier offer. So that's why I think these really direct ads work so well. And they were getting us like the cheapest cost per lead. So I think if you're like lead magnet, which is effectively what this event is, if it is sexy and different and new, then those really like direct ads can still work. And I'll be honest, wasn't any like crazy copywriting in those ads. Obviously, we knew our customer, we knew their pain points, we knew what they desired, and we just put that into like a really direct ad. So that's number one. Number two was a pain ad. So we had like two types of customers or like client profiles. Number one, someone who hasn't started yet, but they were kind of sick of their current situation and they wanted to start this type of business. They've been thinking about it, they just didn't know how. Or we had profile number two, which was they had started and they had failed and they wasn't really sure and they were confused and maybe they'd been burnt by other trainings and stuff before. So we just had two client profiles. So we made different videos for each, focusing on those pain points. And those pain points worked really, really well. Number one, it was obviously focusing on, like the biggest pain point was sick of their current reality, sick of their job, current circumstance, looking for something new. And then the second profile was more focusing on the client. Our ideal client is generally quite older, and therefore they're not the most like tech savvy, and they're not the most familiar with like online businesses and marketing, online marketing, digital marketing. We're not marketing like, I don't know, trading to like 19-year-olds or, how to become a sales rep to like 20-year-old guys. Like we're marketing to an older generation. So a lot of their pain points were along the lines of, I don't know how to get started. I don't know how technology works. I don't know how social media works, kind of like all that regular stuff. So those were like the key pain points of that client profile. So we made ads specifically around that connected to their pain. We showed them our new solution, and they can actually get access to that solution by going through our 3-week program, and they can apply. So that's kind of like an idea of like the different pain points. The ones that converted best for that type of connection piece was video. So we found that obviously our copy follows a very similar messaging, but we found that with this specifically, when we're trying to connect to like a client's pain points and show empathy towards them, video can communicate that a lot better than like an image or an image and text. Whereas with the more direct offer, which was like, hey, come and learn this amazing thing for free, we found that the image and just short copy worked really well for that, probably because you have to show less of like your like human side. And it's more just like, if you have a really incredible offer, just put it out there in front of people and it'll convert. Whereas the pain stuff, we had to show empathy a little bit and show that we were like cared for them and we were a real person and we understood them. And it's a lot easier to communicate that via video. And then the third one was also false beliefs. So, and this is relatable to like any type of business that people are thinking about starting. Our ideal clients had a lot of false beliefs around what it took to build this type of business, whether it would be like qualifications or certifications or specific training or experience, or it would be like leverage in terms of like a large social media following, for example. So we just highlighted, like, we basically just wrote down like the biggest like 5 false beliefs that our ideal customer has. And we wrote those out and we scripted a video for our client to film that basically hooked them in by connecting and stating that false belief, and then basically overcame the false belief or showed evidence that the belief wasn't real inside of the ad. And then we said, hey, if you want to learn how to do this without the social media following, if you want to learn how to do this without having this type of qualification or certification or this type of experience, then, join our program for free. So The false belief connected with them. We overcame the false belief, showed evidence that the belief wasn't real in the ad. And then we obviously did the CTA. So like I said, we tested multiple different angles like that within those different ad types, tested those for the first week, found what worked, optimized a few of them. And then we were kind of like running pretty steadily with the same ads for like the last probably like, I'd say 1.5 weeks. We kind of found the winners, and it was just a case of like increasing the budget, structuring the campaigns correctly that allowed us to scale without having the cost per lead go too high. Like I said, the highest day for cost per lead was $6.48, which in like an online business coaching niche is pretty solid cost per lead. So a couple of important notes around the registration phase. Number one, I think one thing that really helped our conversions and our show up rate and the engagement throughout the 3 weeks was the framing. So they needed to fill out an application. It wasn't like, hey, register for free. Hey, get access now, which that's a lot of the messaging, right? In the ads, it was very much, hey, we're looking for beta testers. Again, like when you make an offer, especially if something's for free and it's like a really good deal, you need to have some form of reason or logical explanation of why you're doing it, right? People don't believe that you're just giving away information for free out of the goodness of your hearts, right? There's a reason why I'm filming this video. It's not just because I'm a really good guy and I like to just give really valuable information out for free. I know eventually I'm going to get a return on making a video like this. Whether it's someone watches the video and they refer someone to come and work with us and we'll build this process for them, or someone just directly watches the video and they'll either want us to build this process for them, or maybe they'll, want a booking for some consulting or something, right? There's a reason why I'm doing this. So people don't believe that someone will just go and give stuff away for free for no motive. So when you do give something away for free, you either need to be honest with them, just like I did, and say, hey, I will eventually sell you something, or the intention is to sell someone something. It might not be you, it could be someone else, but I'm doing this for a reason. Or you want to give more of a logical reason of why you would be doing it. That might not necessarily be like 100% money motivated. So our reasoning was, hey, this is a new program that we've created. We'll be honest, no one's gone through it before. So what we want to do is get a small beta test group of people to go through the program for free. But what you need to do once you go, number one, you need to commit to going through the full 3 weeks. Number two, you need to give us feedback so we can improve it. So we included parts, and I'll talk about this in a second, but we included parts within the 3-week program where they could submit feedback. And then number two, we said, if you get results, you need to give us a testimonial. You need to and we can use that for future marketing. So then we can actually market this course in the future and sell it for thousands of dollars. So yes, we're giving something away for free, but number one, we do want something in return. We need your commitment to go through it. We need you to submit your feedback on a weekly basis. And we also require a testimonial if you get results. And we can also use that testimonial. You give us permission to use that testimonial for future marketing, or we're going to sell this program for thousands of dollars in the future. So we're not just saying, hey, we're going to give it away for free because we're really good people. We're actually explaining like a logical reason of like why we're doing it. And we're kind of showing our motive a little bit. So I think when you do something like this, where it's like a really good offer, you do need to like treat the person on the other side like a human being. Like they're going to understand that you're not just doing it just completely for free. And there's a reason why. So as long as you have some form of like, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to give too much detail, but it has to be some form of like logical reason for them to be like, okay, that makes sense. Like as long as you can get that type of reaction, like, okay, yeah, that's fair enough, then you're good. But you do need to give some form of reason. You can't just say, hey, I just want to share all my knowledge for free, because people don't believe that. So that's number one. Number two, the framing of they need to fill out the application. Obviously that changes the dynamic of like who's in control. It's very different from, hey, register for this training for free versus you need to apply because we want to make sure that the right people are going through the program so we can improve it for the future. So that framing, I felt, changed the dynamic, and it meant that even though we had thousands of people register, like 23,000 people register, we had super high engagement throughout the whole program, because once we accepted them, they felt like it was an opportunity that they didn't want to waste versus it's an opportunity that everyone could get because they're just giving it away for free. So I think the framing in the ad was super important to the high engagement, and that obviously led to the high engagement rates. So once he filled out the application, on that page, on the Facebook form actually, so organically was a jot form, and we redirected them to a ClickFunnels page. For the ads, on the Facebook lead form, like the final page pops up, and on that page we say, hey, you need to request to join the Facebook group. If we see your application come through and we can't see that you haven't requested to join the Facebook group, then your application will be rejected. So it was a requirement that they joined the Facebook group. And this meant that we got, I think I got the numbers in a second, but like 80+% of the people joined the Facebook group, which for like a launch like this is really, really strong. So we pretty much got every single lead who registered or applied to get inside the Facebook group, which is obviously like where kind of the energy is, where the magic happens, and that's where, you know, you get the engagement, and that can increase conversion rates as well. And we also use the Facebook group for social proof as well, which I'll explain that in the sales part. So number one, it's a requirement to join the group. Then basically what happened was there was a 1 hour delay. So obviously, like if they apply for something, you can't really just send them an email immediately being like, hey, you got accepted, because they're just like not going to believe that it's true. So we have basically just a 1 hour delay before they get accepted. So we wait 1 hour after they submit their application, we have a delay in active campaign, and then we send them an email being like, hey, we've just reviewed your application, you're accepted, here are the next steps. So obviously the next steps are to join the Facebook group, and then also to request access to the school platform. So we basically, I think we set up an integration as well where they kind of get sent the email from school to be like, hey, join. When they click that link or they click to join school, we accept them. And then we basically turn off all the engagement inside of school. So no one can post or comment because we want all the engagement to be in the Facebook group. But inside of school, where the course area is, and I think we even post it in like a pinned post as well, there's like a welcome video from the client that's basically hyping them up, getting them excited for what's to come. And then once they get that acceptance email, we have follow-up emails to make sure that they follow the steps, join the group, join school, etc., etc. And there's like a delay on that. So if they don't click the link in the email to send them to the group, we resend them the email and then we resend it again. If they do click the link to join the Facebook group, then they get taken out of that automation. So that's like the 3 weeks before it happens. That's all that's going on. And then also throughout those, probably like the last week and a half, we send warm-up emails. So again, this is just getting them excited, reminding them what they've signed up for, kind of like future pacing the results they're going to experience after participating in the program, and just generally keeping the energy high and getting them excited about what's to come. We're basically just sending them emails to remind them that, like, hey, we're here. You've applied for this thing. You've been accepted. It's going to start on this date. Make sure you've followed these steps. Okay, so we want to stay as top of mind as possible. I don't think Okay, yeah, I'll talk about the reminder ads in this section. So now we're looking at phase 2. So phase 2 starts essentially 3 days before the event starts. So the main things we've got to look at is obviously like the school, which is for the course and the calendar, the Facebook group, which is for community and communication, the email list for communication, and then we use Zoom for like the live coaching, and then we also stream those live sessions inside of the Facebook group. So I'll break down all this in a second. I know there's a lot of stuff on screen. So like I said, 23,000 total leads. We had 86% of them join the Facebook group. We only had 65% of them join the school group. I think we had a little bit more obviously further into the challenge, we found that a lot of people did join after the event started. So I think that number did get a little bit higher, but definitely for next time, we need to put a better protocol in place to get more people to join the school. The Facebook group worked really well, but I think we put too much, well, I don't know if too much is the right word, but we put a lot of focus on obviously joining the group because that's where the engagement is. But I think that diluted the importance of joining school where the course was. So we got to work on that to get that percentage higher. But yeah, at the end of the day, we obviously made a lot of money. So that's kind of like the process. So the 3 weeks then. So let's break it down in a little bit more detail. Well, actually, what I'll do, I'll break down the cadence. So the notes here, you can see that the Facebook group, we open it up 3 days before. So 3 days before the 3-week live event starts, we open up the group. So that would be on the Friday before the Monday. And you can see here, this is kind of like the makeup of the 3 weeks. So the courses were released on a Monday at 9 a.m. So week 1, which started on the 12th, and week 2, which started on the 19th, the course for that week was released at Monday at 9 a.m. And then at 11 a.m., we had a kickoff session. So we had like basically a live coaching session on that Monday. So we had and then we had basically, you can see here, basically in the school calendar here, we had the live session. So on a Monday, on a Wednesday, and then also on a Friday as well. And then we had some rest days in between where people could catch up on the replays and obviously catch up on the content that got released on the Monday as well. So we had course content released on a Monday, and then we had live coaching sessions throughout each week. We also had reminder ads as well. So for the first 5 days, so from the Monday to the end of the first week, we were basically reminding them in the ads. So we were retargeting all of the leads, and we were just like, hey, day 1 started, session 1 started, click the link to join, right? And it was sending them to the Facebook group. You can see that we spent about $400 on these reminder ads. If I was to do it again, and I think we have done in the previous launches, we would spend probably a lot more. Because again, people have registered for this event, 3-4 weeks out. People obviously get busy as well. Life gets in the way. So we just want to show up as much as possible, not only in the email, but also on not just in the Facebook group, but also just on like the feed as well. We want to retarget them on Facebook and Instagram to be like, hey, the session's starting today. So we've actually increased that reminder ad budget. That's something that we did increase for the next time that we did it. So that's something that we implemented. But we basically, just retarget all of the leads, and we're just like, hey, make sure you've joined the group. Hey, attend the live session that starts later today. So we just run those ads basically for the first half of the day until 11 a.m. saying like, hey, day 1 starts today. Hey, day 2 starts today. Hey, the live call starts later on today, et cetera, et cetera. We obviously have daily email reminders, especially when there's a live session. We'll have obviously like 2 hours before, 50 minutes before, and then when the replay is uploaded, we'll send the replay out as well of the coaching call as well. So we have email reminders going on throughout the whole week, and then we also have Facebook post reminders as well. So we use the Facebook group for for basically notifications as well. So that's kind of like a breakdown of like the high level strategy of what happened throughout the 3 weeks. The third week, I'm going to talk about that in the sales part. So I'm not going to focus on this week here because it's a little bit different to the first 2 weeks. But just know the first 2 weeks is course released, or like the module is released on the Monday, live coaching throughout the week. The second module is released on the Monday, live coaching throughout the week. And then we start week 3, which is kind of the start of the sales week. So in terms of the actual content then, so week 1 was a mindset course, and week 2 was a vision / like future pacing, goal setting course. So especially when you are marketing a like a business program, but you're focusing mainly on beginners. This is nothing new. This is what obviously like Russell Brunson speaks about all the time in all of his books, is that yes, teaching them like tactics and strategy is cool, but what you really want to focus on is like an identity shift of your prospects. Because if you're getting someone to like start a business or go all in on a business, they're just going to have, through conditioning and society and growing up in childhood, they're going to have so many false beliefs that are holding them back from actually going for it. And they're going to have so many internal worries that if you can just get them to believe in themselves, that is like the biggest key. If you can shift their identity from who they are now to that successful entrepreneur and get them to believe that it's possible for them, then that is like the biggest key to getting them to say yes, right? So that's what we focus on in week 1 and week 2, is primarily changing their mindset, and also their like internal belief system about how they saw themselves. So week 1 was a mindset course. It focused on the limiting beliefs that they had, and then also the journey of like entrepreneurship. Like in terms of getting them prepared for, when they start, they're going to have these beliefs come in, they're going to have doubt, insecurity, people are going to doubt them, people maybe will laugh at them, then they're going to go through this challenging period, and then they're going to find the success in the end, kind of like the hero journey, right? So we want to make them we want to communicate that to them, because that's what they're going to be feeling out right now. That phase 1 is going to be what they're feeling. They're going to have doubt, they're going to have insecurity, they're going to tell people, hey, I'm doing this 3-week program that's going to teach me how to build this business, and people are going to laugh at them. People are going to say that it's a scam, right? So if we can map out the journey of an entrepreneur, and at the end, they have all the success, but at the beginning, they have all of this stuff going on. And if that is the stuff that they are experiencing right now, which it is, because that's always happens for every type of like new business owner, they're going to look at it and be like, oh shit, what they're saying is true. They said phase 1, all of this stuff is going to happen. And guess what? That's all happening. I have the people that doubt me. I have the insecurity. I have the doubt. I've tried stuff and it's not worked straight away. So if they're telling the truth about this part of the journey, they must be telling the truth about the end part, which is all the success. So it's about preparing them for the journey. And again, it's about connecting with the stuff that they're going through right now and letting them know if they battle through that, they will get to the other side. So that's kind of like the concept behind the week 1. And then again, we had 3 live sessions, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Week 2 was more vision. So now we've kind of like worked on the mindset and like getting rid of like the limiting beliefs of like what's stopping them from taking action. Now we want to like future pace them, rewire them to kind of believe what's possible in the future, and get them working on the vision and the goals and what they want to create, and getting them like super excited for what's to come. Because again, that's going to give them the energy, the confidence, and the belief that they can actually go out and build this business. And we want them to start mapping that out in week 2, because then in week 3, we give them the opportunity to learn from us and get our help to make that vision a reality. At that point, they're going to be so bought into the vision that they'll make the buying decision. So we need to get rid of the limiting beliefs, shift their identity, and then future pace them to believe that that vision is close, and then we can help them get there. So if we touch on, so like the live sessions, they basically we coached and then did Q&A. So we would expand on the topics in the course, right? So obviously week 1, the mindset course, and week 2, the vision course, that got released on the Monday. So during the live sessions throughout the week, we would basically teach a little bit more on those topics, expand what's in the course content. Then we'd do some live coaching. So we'd actually bring some of the participants out. They would share a little bit about themselves, the business, or the business they want to create, kind of like what they're struggling with. And then we do some live coaching with them. And then we just do some like general live Q&A at the end as well. So the week 1 lesson topics, I'll just give you kind of like a high level overview. The modules kind of consisted on identifying the limiting beliefs that have held you back in the past, how to overcome the limiting beliefs, the entrepreneurial journey, which I talked about before, and then how you speak and how you see yourself. So again, this is more like tapping into the identity shift of like your self-talk, what you say to yourself when you say, I can't do it, or I can do it, or it's not possible for me, it is possible for me, and how you see yourself as like a person. Are you the person that is from the past, or are you the new successful entrepreneur version of yourself? So again, we're getting them to like shift and tap into a new identity in week 1. And then week 2 lesson topics was mapping out the vision, like rewriting their past and rewriting who they are, getting them really clear on kind of like their dream day, their dream reality, their goals. And then also after you've kind of like mapped out goals like that, some people aren't going to feel very confident in them, and they're going to feel like it's like a big disconnect. Like, yeah, it looks nice, it sounds nice, it looks nice on a vision board, but like, is that really possible for me? Right? So once people do that, we want to then overcome that resistance. So we went through a module and a teaching that helps them kind of understand that that's pretty normal to feel like that, and then we help them kind of overcome that resistance so they do feel like that dream day and that vision is actually possible for them. So we're basically just priming them to shift their identity, really get connected to their vision and really believe in it, so that when we offer them a chance to, hey, we're going to help you make that vision a reality, they're just so bought in, and they're so hyped up and in the entrepreneurial mindset that they want to buy, and they actually believe in themselves. Just some extras. So like I said, we had feedback forms. So at the end of each of the modules, we had basically a questionnaire where we got them to fill in feedback. Because again, in the ads, you don't want to say, hey, join our 3-week program and in return, give us feedback and a testimonial. But then once they're inside, they don't hear anything about the feedback or the testimonial. And then they're just like, it was just a trick to get us to register. So whatever you say on the ads, you need to deliver on inside. So we had feedback forms where they submitted their feedback to get improvements for the future. We also had like homework and workbooks as well. So we set them different tasks to do throughout the week. So for example, part of our business model is getting them to create content to grow the business. But we know for our ideal customer, a lot of them are too scared to create content. So one of the homeworks and one of the tasks was to go live inside of the Facebook group. That way it's not as intimidating as, going live on a public Instagram or posting a YouTube video. You're in like a safe group and community. And the task was to basically go live and just share your biggest learnings from the live session. And again, what that does, that helps with the identity shift, because it helps take someone from, I'm too scared to post content, I can't make a video. We get them to post a video, and boom, now their identity is someone who can do a live video. And then also, because it's inside of the community, which is obviously full of the people taking the same program as them, everyone in the comments is like, amazing video, great job. Even if they're like super nervous and super scared, they get all of this positive reinforcement and feedback from everyone in the community. So then their mindset is like, wow, I was so scared of this thing, and I've been putting off creating content for years. I've just made my first video, and I feel friggin' incredible. And I got all of this feedback. And what that does is they link that transformation and that breakthrough to our client. So they're thinking, wow, I've had all of these beliefs stopping me from taking action. One day with these guys, and I've posted a video, I've got great feedback, and I feel like a completely new person. Imagine if, I work with them for 12 months. So again, having little like micro pieces of homework that again helps them take the first few steps of becoming that new version of themselves, creating some form of transformation. If you can get them to do that within the first few days, then they're just going to be all in on buying from you, because you were the person that's helped them make that shift. You are the person that's already helping them change who they are. They already feel different about themselves. So if you can have some exercise and homework like that help like break your your leads through and get them taking the first few steps, they're going to now look at you as someone who can help them do everything, and they're going to buy from you. So that was the homework. And then we had testimonial contests as well. So we actually give them we had like a contest where if you submit a testimonial, you win a prize, basically. So we collected, obviously, testimonials for the program as well. Okay, so that's phase 2. So that's like the first 2 main weeks. Now, what we're going to go now onto is sales weeks. So we'll start up here, and then we'll dive down. So I already mentioned the offer at the start of this video. So we had a 2K offer and a 5K offer. Course, community, 2 coaching calls per week, a bunch of bonuses. And then if you went for the VIP, you got 2 in-person masterminds. You got a 8-week accelerator course that happened for the first 8 weeks of the program to kind of get them like kick-started. And then after that, they had bi-weekly VIP calls where they could get like extra coaching, but also like more intimate coaching because it was obviously a smaller group. So let's have a look at the numbers then. So like I mentioned, this is what I shared with you at the start, which was 23,000 leads, over 600 sales, 780K cash collected, 1.6 million in total sales revenue, lead conversion 3.44%. Organically, 5,800 leads, 292 sales, 5% conversion rate, which is fucking nuts, right? Converted 5% of the leads into a 2K or a 5K offer. That's extremely strong. With the ads, 82,000 spent in total. So you can see the breakdown here, 80K on registration, $400 on reminder, 1.1K on sales ads. And I'll talk about these in a second. So we spent 82K in total, 17,000 leads, cost per lead $4.63, 327 sales, 1.87% conversion. So obviously it's going to be lower than organic because it's a cold audience. But again, converting 1.87% of the leads to a 2K or a 5K offer, extremely strong numbers. So we generated from that 82K, we generated over 400K cash, 891K in total sales revenue. So our cash profit on the ads alone was 350K. Revenue profit was over 800K. And we got a day 1/month 1 cash ROAS of 5.26 and a total revenue ROAS of 10.82. So again, extremely strong numbers across the board. From the ads point of view, obviously I've already talked about how we were able to get like a cheap cost per lead and the different ads that allowed that to happen. But it's the conversion rate that makes it so profitable. And the conversion rate is because of the process that we have. Like I said, it's not a fucking 90-minute webinar. It's not like a 4-day challenge. And it's not like a VSL. This is a full built-out 3-week process that, for me, the conversion rates are the highest I've seen. And we've worked with a lot of clients over the years. And if you do this process right, it can be magic. So that's an example of the numbers. Once we did the sell, so we did the sell on the first day of week 3, on that first live session on the Monday. We did kind of like the pitch, the stack, the offer. And then after that, we ran retargeting ads. So we retargeted all of the leads with ads, basically being like, hey, the offer's open, come and join us on the program. So we had some different ad types. We had more direct ads, which was very simply just, hey, we saw you checked out the sales page, come and back and buy. Or it's like, hey, you might have seen that we've opened up spots for our 12-month coaching program, come and buy, right? So that's number one, very simple direct ads. We had urgency and scarcity. So obviously the cart was closing after that week. So just more focusing on, hey, the opportunity is going to expire. Make sure you join now. So urgency and scarcity. Objection handle. So obviously some of our clients still had objections maybe around confidence, time, investment, money. Is it possible for them? Like all the regular objections that someone has to buying business coaching. So we created specific ads overcoming those specific objections. And then also we had ads basically focusing on the challenges that someone can face if they go this alone. And then also like the benefits of joining the program. So again, they were relatively simple-ish ads, I would say, but they worked really well. We only spent 1.16K. Again, in future launches, we've spent more than this, and that was definitely a learning from this, is that we would spend more on reminder ads and sales ads. So again, just some ad examples. We had cart abandoned, so we retargeted people that had gone to the sales page and they hadn't bought. So we retargeted those with like a really specific ad. Deadline fast approaching, which I talked about. Tests from the universe, so like false beliefs around like, can they actually do it? Not thinking it's possible. This was like more of a personal, like the crowd that we were talking to were very into like personal development, learning, even like a bit of spiritual people. So we kind of like focus on like the test from the universe angle. Obviously we wouldn't do that for different coaching programs, but for this audience specifically, it worked well. The opportunity that they have. So like whenever we do, especially, well, anytime really, but like specifically for like a business offer or like a business opportunity, you always want to find some form of narrative of like why now is the best time, okay? And you can pick like a world event, a situation, whatever it is, right? So for example, I don't know, in COVID, for example, you could run an ad that's like, hey, now is the perfect time to start this type of business. Everyone's at home, everyone's buying like stuff because everyone's just stuck at home bored. Now is the perfect time to start this business, for example. And you can do another business, like, for example, if TikTok shop right now is like a hot opportunity, right? So you could create a narrative around like, this is like TikTok shop is like starting on Amazon FBA in 2016. Now is the opportunity, et cetera, right? So there's always like some form of narrative you can spin of like why now is the greatest time in the world in history to start this particular business. So try and find a narrative around that, and you can weave that into your sell, you can weave it into your emails, but we obviously weaved it into the ads as well. Lonely Road, which was more like the challenges that you could face if you try and build this by yourself. So all the different challenges that comes with like the wasted money, the wasted time, figuring stuff out by yourself, feeling confused, overwhelmed, not having anyone to, turn to if you face a challenge. So like we called it the Lonely Road ad. And then, with the benefits of the program, we would explain basically just stacking out all of the support that they get and all the benefits that they're going to experience after joining the program. So those are like the different retargeting ads that we ran. Let's break down the actual week 3 content then, because this was basically the secret sauce. So this is where it gets a little crazy. So this is why I wouldn't recommend like a complete beginner try this process, because it does require a lot of live sessions. Now looking back, we probably don't need to do this many live sessions, but it worked. So, we are going to kind of focus on what works. So we actually had, crazily enough, 17 live sessions during week 3. And again, I think we've done this a couple of times and it's worked. Next time we do this, we are going to scale it back a little bit and not do that many, because we're actually feeling like maybe it's a little bit unnecessary. But that being said, that's what we did for this launch and it worked really well. So the sessions that we hosted in week 3, so there was no course content. We basically, on week 3, we just said, hey, there's going to be no course release today. What we decided to do is just put on a load of live sessions on different topics for you. So they focused on overcoming objections that these people might have to buying, the different opportunities that they have with this business. We focus more on tactical stuff. So like, this is how you do X, this is how you do Y. Any extra stuff that we found that they were maybe talking about or commenting about, or any feedback that we got over the first couple of weeks, or when we did like the live coaching where we brought the participants out, if they were struggling with certain stuff and that theme kept coming up, then we'd do a live session on that. Obviously sales, but for their business. So like how to sell, how to make money, how to get customers. And then obviously our own sales as well. We were doing like direct CTA to a sales page. So no sales call. We were selling a 2 or a 5K offer, but we did absolutely 0 sales calls for this. So on this Monday here, on this live session, that's where we did the first sell. So we did the pitch, and then we basically did different workshops throughout the week that focused on those topics that I talked about. So this is just some like examples of the topic. So different ways that you can make passive income with this business model, how to create content to drive traffic, how to monetize that social media following, an overview of the business model, different systems that you can use to automate your business, how to build a community around your business that can help it grow, how to get your customers and your clients results after they pay you, how to sell, and then just like another overview of like the system / like the best business model to follow. Now, it's important to note that in all of these topics, we taught them the what, not the how. So, for example, in the sales part, we have like a sales script that we give to them after they buy, but we don't go and review that sales script on the call. In that workshop topic, we just kind of give them our philosophy for sales, kind of explain like a few key points to think about, but then also like the benefit of, learning to sell and how to do it in like a way that they feel comfortable with. But we didn't give them a script, right? So we're not showing them exactly what to do. We're kind of telling them what to do, but we're not showing them exactly like how to do it. Like with the passive income, we explain the different ways at a high level, how they can make different like ways of passive income with this business model, but we didn't like walk them through, hey, you click this and you set this up, then you do this and you do that. We just talked about the different ways and kind of explained how easy it was to set up. But again, we didn't show them how to do it. But there were some parts in this week that we did get a little bit tactical. So for example, with like content creation, we gave them like a video framework that they could use for social media. We did like review some of like the systems and stuff, because especially with a program like this, which is 3 weeks, the first 2 weeks obviously really did focus on like mindset and belief breaking. But that alone is going to make like a lot of people buy, but there's still going to be like a percentage of people that still don't buy on like mindset and identity shifting but alone. A lot of people will, but there are going to be like a percentage of the audience that need a little bit more evidence that you know what you're on about. So the belief breaking and the mindset and the vision, that works really well for our client profile number 1, which was like people who wanted to do this business or they wanted a change from their current circumstance, but they've never tried it before. So for that client profile, mindset and identity shifting is usually enough to get them to buy, right? Obviously, they've got to trust you, they've got to like you, they've got to like the business that you're presenting to them, you've got to present it in a way that makes logical sense, where they believe that it's possible, all of that sort of stuff. But in terms of like what you teach and the content that you cover, a lot of the time, like just breaking their beliefs and installing new empowering beliefs within them is enough to get them to buy. But client profile number 2, people who have tried and failed at something before, they are a little bit more aware of the tactics that go into the business because they have tried certain tactics before and they've failed with them. So there's going to be a percentage of that market that need to know that the tactics that you teach and that you're going to get them to implement is different or better than what they've tried previously. So for example, with the sales, we need to explain a little bit about our process because, for example, if someone has maybe tried to sell before and they've failed, and maybe on that sales call or that sales process, they felt like too pushy, or they felt like a bit slimy, or they didn't feel confident in their sales process, they need to know and have trust in you that your sales process is different. You're going to teach them how to sell in a different way to what they've been told previously. So that's why it's important in week 3 that we get a little bit more tactical. And this week isn't just mindset stuff, vision stuff. And we're actually giving them like formulas, or at least, just a little bit more like giving an overview of the tactic. Again, you're not walking them through the sales script, for example, but you're explaining your philosophy on sales and explaining how you do it, so you can highlight that it's different to what they've tried in the past. The same with like the monetization, right? You explain how you monetize an audience, but you don't show them what to do step by step. But again, for someone who has maybe been told, hey, you need to like cold DM strangers, or, you need to cold call, and, all these different monetization strategies, they need to know that you're not going to teach them how to do that if they have tried those things and they've failed in the past. So they need to know that you're going to be different. So we needed to outline our exact business model, our exact monetization strategies, how we actually build the business in a more tactical way to highlight the differences to what they've tried in the past. And if you can do that, combined with the mindset and the identity shift and showing that you're different and in a lot of cases better than what they've tried in the past, that then creates enough trust for that second profile to buy. So that's why it's super important that you do need to get a little bit tactical in the third round of the workshops. So just a few notes on what happened. So during the week, obviously all the live calls replays, they were streamed inside the Facebook group, so they were still there, but they were also uploaded into school. So in school, we had like the course, and then we also had the live call sessions. Throughout this week as well, we brought out past students who would give testimonials on the live workshops. So if someone had, for example, content creation, in that content creation workshop, we'd bring out a past student who had grown a big social following after going through the program, and we'd get them to give a good testimonial. We had, I don't even know, it says 25 to 26, 26 to 25. We basically had a lot of notifications going out throughout the week, explaining, saying like, hey, the live session is starting. So those reminder emails. And at the end of each of those reminder emails, we had a PS with a CTA to get them to join the program. So we relied on the workshops to do most of the selling. So during this first week specifically, we already had 2 live sessions a day. So that was at least 4 emails going out with reminders of being like, hey, the live session's starting. So what we didn't want to do is send out 5 emails or 6 emails in a day with like some sales emails with CTAs to buy. So all we did was we sent out the 4 reminder emails a day for the live workshops. And then at the end, we'd have a PS being like, hey, did you know that we've opened up spots for the program? And then we'd have a CTA to go into the sales page. Now I know what it was. 25. So the date 25 to the 5th, that's where we had notifications, emails going out for the live sessions. And then from the 4th here to the 7th, we had sales emails. So we did have a few sales emails towards the end. And especially on 6 and 7, where we didn't have any live sessions, we had some days there where we could send a couple of sales emails that were just more focused on direct CTA, hey, join the program. Again, there would be some scarcity and urgency there, letting them know that we shut the page down. Another thing that we did that helped us sell a lot during the live workshops was that they had like a core set of bonuses for the program. But on each workshop, we had fast action bonuses that people would get if they joined live on the call. So our client, when they were doing these workshops in the 3rd week, they would say, hey, if you join during this live session, I'm going to give you this extra bonus. So for example, in the content creation course, that workshop, the bonus that we released live on that session was like a YouTube training. For the passive income, I believe one of the bonuses that they got if they joined during the passive income workshop was like an affiliate marketing course. So the bonuses that we released, the fast action bonuses, were related to the topic we've just been teaching on. And if they joined during the live call, they would get access to that bonus. So that helped drive sales dramatically through each workshop. Number 2 is, and this was why the Facebook group was super important, every single person that joined the program, we created a post inside of Facebook and posted it. So it would be like a graphic with the person's face on it and the program that they joined. And it would just be like, hey, congratulations for Sam for joining the program. So obviously we had 619 people join. So over that week from the 26th to the 7th, so like a week and a half, we made over 600 posts inside of the Facebook group being like, hey, this person has joined. And again, we'd have the image of the person if we could find it on Facebook, and we'd tag them as well if we could find their profile. So that just had massive amounts of social proof that hundreds of people were joining because we were literally posting all day, every day. We scheduled it out throughout the 24 hours. But again, that was massive in terms of like showing social proof that, there's a lot of people joining. And it creates massive FOMO when they can see this many people joining and kind of like starting their journey. Another thing that we did as well was during the live workshops, we would have a notification that would go to the client whenever someone joined during their live session. And what they would do is, number one, they would congratulate the people that were joining. So again, showing more social proof. Oh, I just want to congratulate Sam for joining. He's just joined whilst we're live on this session, right? But number two, we'd also bring people out. So I think this is super powerful. And what we did is that if we knew someone had joined during the live session, we were like, hey, Sam, do you want to come out on live? And during the live session, we'd bring the new person out who's just joined, and we'd get them to share a little bit about themselves, and we get them to share why they decided to join. Now, this is really great for sales for two reasons. Number one, that person has just made like a huge life decision, right? They've just invested money into a program that's going to change their life. So number one, their energy is high. They are pumped, right? So they're at that really high moment, and we're going to bring them on the call, and they're going to show that energy off, and that's going to make other people join. Because it's going to be quite inspiring to them, and it's going to be motivational to them, and they're going to be like, I want to be like that. I want to be like that person who's just made this big decision. I'm going to go and join. That's number one. Number two is they can talk about as well their own story. So like, hey, this is what I've tried in the past, or hey, this is what I've struggled with in the past, or this is the reason why I haven't started yet. And then they can talk about what they want to achieve. And all that is doing is just being relatable to their audience. Because if someone says, I've tried this marketing technique before and it didn't work, there's going to be hundreds of people who are watching live who have also tried that same thing and it didn't work for them. So they're going to be like, this person's just like me. Or if they say like, I've wanted to do this for years, but I've just never had the confidence. I've always been too scared to start. But this course has given me the confidence to get going on my dream. Boom. There's going to be hundreds of people watching on Zoom who are in that exact same position, who want to do something, but they're scared. Relatable. So all of that is going to make them think, this person is just like me and they've just decided to join. I'm going to join as well. So once we bring those new people out on the live sessions, we actually see like a spike in sales because they're sharing such a relatable story and they're in the exact same position the people watching are, that the people who relate to that are going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to join as well. So that's something massive that helps our sales as well. So this is kind of like a breakdown of the numbers. So you can see we started selling on day one here. And obviously we have like a huge spike in sales, which is like 124 people joined on day one, which is awesome. And you can see a breakdown of the payment plan. So we had a 2K offer and we split it into, that would be 6 payments of 397, or we had a 5K offer. And I believe this was 6 payments of 897 as well. So you can see the breakdown there. Obviously we had a ton more people join the 2K, which is normal, but the 5K obviously just brought in like a ton of cash, which is great. Obviously, so when we first started, that's where we had a huge spike in sales. But you can see as we were doing the workshops, you can see that we were still making a lot of sales on a daily basis, which is obviously great. And you can kind of see which workshops were like hitting home the most. So for example, this one worked really well. This one worked really well. This one worked really well. This one worked not so well. So we can look back on those days and be like, okay, well, next time we're going to probably change the topic of this workshop because, workshop on day number 6 didn't convert that many people. So you can use the numbers to really understand, okay, like which messaging and which topics and which content converted the most people, and we can kind of either, if it worked really well, bring that more into the main teaching, or we can kind of like change up the workshops that didn't work too well. So basically what we did there was we had the first deadline, which I believe was on day 9. And then what happened was, this is where like the replays and everything got shut down. So we had that big surge of scarcity and urgency, because we were going to like close everything down and everything was going to be expired. So we had a huge surge here. And then what we did, we emailed them, I believe a few days later, with like, hey, we're going to open it up for 24 more hours. Because over the past couple of days, we've had a bunch of people email in being like, oh, I just got paid, or hey, I just moved some money around. Is there any chance I can get access to the opportunity? So we open it back up for 24 hours and we send it out and say, look, you got to buy now. So that, again, it didn't go crazy, but it obviously, it brought us in after the main deadline. It brought us in like, what's that, like 40 plus more sales, which is pretty significant. So we kind of have 2 points of urgency as well. And yeah, that's a breakdown of all the sales, all the numbers, over 600 customers, 785K cash collected, 1.6 million in sales revenue. And that's it. That's an overview, long video. Appreciate you guys for watching. I know I covered a lot. So if you guys have any questions on the process, the ads, the sales process, the content inside, whatever it is, if you've got any questions on any part of the process, just let me know in the comments below. I will get back to you. And yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one.